Hey, we're back. TO-30 in 2 halves. Parts are here, and we're gonna see if we can't get this thing back up and running like nearly new in just a couple days. So what did we have to do? So we ordered a new clutch kit, which is the clutch disc, the pressure plate, the pilot bushing, and the release bushing, 4 things. And then while I was at it, you know, if we're gonna split the tractor and go to all this trouble, then we just as well deal with that pesky exhaust leak. So found a company on the old Flywheel that sells the exhaust manifolds for, I don't know, affordable, I guess. They're not the cheapest thing in the world, but when you got one that's been welded, broken in half and welded back together, beggars can't be choosers. So we have a what should fit exhaust manifold, and then we got some gaskets, intake, exhaust, and collector, that kind of stuff. So first things first, I'm gonna put you down here, and whenever you order parts, especially for parts that you've never, you know, a type of vehicle you've never worked on before, first thing you do is just kind of compare. Don't throw your old ones out until you make sure that the new piece you got is maybe gonna fit. So let's take a look. First of all, let's look at the disc. Should be a 1 3/8 inch input shaft, 10 spline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 inches in diameter, or thereabouts. So take that guy and put it over that guy. Seems to be pretty happy like that. We're in pretty good shape. So this one, you know, 70 years old, so it doesn't have the dampening springs built into it like this one. This one should engage and disengage a little more smoothly. So let's set that aside. I think we're in a pretty good shape there. Set that guy aside. Now the next piece that we need to make sure is the same is the pilot bearing. Looks like we've got a inside, whoops, we've got an outside diameter that is the same. We've got an inside diameter that appears to be the same. And just to make sure, we'll bring it on over here to the old transmission, and we'll make sure, yep, perfect. Well, that's going to be super nice. That old one was just about ready to give up the ghost, and that would have ruined and transmission input and all kinds of stuff. So, okay. 2 for 2. We're in pretty good shape right now. There's our pilot bushing. Not a bushing, bearing. Next, we have the release bearing, or sometimes called the throwout bearing. Now this one, again, we'll have to kind of go over to the tractor and get a good look here. It is okay. So this guy, ooh, yeah, that's a little gravelly. Looks like it's pressed onto this piece, and then there's a spring on either side that holds it back up against the fork, and also will keep your pedal, keep it pulled back when you release the pedal. So what we can do, though, is we can go right here. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty happy. So, but we will have to take this entire piece out and then probably press this one off and press the new one on. But 3 for 3. I'm pretty excited because this clutch was about $60 more affordable than the next clutch in price. And we're worried about what I was giving up or what might not come exactly right with this new clutch. Another way you can make sure things are kosher is to your new clutch. At least if you get a clutch in a kit, will come with an alignment tool, and you can take your alignment tool and make sure it fits your old disc and your new disc. So we're in a very good shape there. And that's a one-time use tool for the most part, but we'll keep it just in case we end up working on another tractor down the road. Now the last piece to the clutch saga is the old pressure plate. And really what we're looking for here is diameter, and then we want to make sure that it functions the same way and that it fastens to the flywheel the same way. This one's packaged really good. It's from the overseas, China wall. That's not too bad, guys. So first let's flip this guy over. Oh, looky there. Yeah. Everything looks to be in order. This is kind of cool. Yeah, okay. And look here, even somewhere along the line, these two spot welded tabs here, these are little weights. So they took the time to balance this, which is really kind of nice. Yeah, that's the clutch. We did good. We ordered the right stuff, and the right stuff came. I'm telling you, it's like 2 or 3 days we had everything, which is really exciting. Pretty self-explanatory. We've got our gaskets for our intake, and it has the collector gasket, and this is a different old style of collector gasket, I believe, that we won't be using. And then finally, this is the cool piece. This is the overseas too. This is from the country of Taiwan. But beggars can't be choosers when you're talking about buying stuff for a 70-year-old tractor. So get rid of the box. Here's what we got. I like what I'm seeing already, because it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a dual plane, so to speak. Casting was ground off here pretty crudely, but they got it done. Some casting slag removal here. This is machined all right though. That looks good. Goes on like this. Here's where our other one was broken completely through and re-welded. Carburetor attaches down here, and then there's a donut kind of sort of thing. They give you this little adapter. This will go on there, and then we have a clamp that will actually clamp our pipe onto here and squeeze it together. So we'll be using the 3-bolt gasket between these two pieces, and then they give you some cap head screws, and then the exhaust clamps onto there with a, oh, not like a band clamp, but like a 2-part clamp. And we'll see that when we put it together. So I think we're in good shape. We are going to take this over and just hold it up to the tractor. I don't want to take the old one off unless this one looks like it's for sure going to be correct. Let's go. Oh, 2 basketball games today. One was a real nail biter, I'm telling you. Kind of far away, I apologize, but that's all I got available right now. Jalen's off doing teenager things, so yeah. This is gonna to work. What'll be interesting though is on the old one, the air fuel mixture from the carburetor goes here and then goes straight into the engine. There's a runner here, runner here, runner here, runner here. And the exhaust, when it comes out here, 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 and here. And 3 of the 4 cylinders have to go up and over the intake and then back down, collect with the 4th and out. In this design, you've got carburetor attaches here, and this is the plenum for your intake runner. So that air fuel mixture is going to have to come up a little higher and then get distributed down to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of the exhaust passages are in line 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't go up and over. The intake goes up and then back down in. So that'll be interesting to see if that affects air fuel or any other, you know, operational efficiency issue. So Jalen's going to start painting the intake. I'm going to press this out. Need something to press the inner hub out from the inside race of this bearing. So went over to the trusty seal and bearing installer tool. Just so happens there's one of those ends that'll fit on there, so that should work just great. Throw it in our press between our plates. Let's see what happens here. Center it up a little better. Just like that. That was easy. Just like that. There's our hub minus the bearing. We'll take this guy out now, and then we'll set it up to press the new bearing on. We're actually going to go with use the old release bearing as a spacer of sorts, and then come in with our another bigger bearing and seal installer piece. Get the next one bigger than that even. And what we're doing here is the neck of this will come through the bearing, so we can't just press flat on here, or we may not get the bearing all the way seated, or we may damage the hub. So we're going to use this as a shim or a sleeve on top of that, so we know we're only pressing on the bearing here. Come down on that. There she goes. It's on. That's kind of a weird sound. Okay. Tool off, shim off. See, now we're raised above here just a little bit. Pop this out. See, that's why we couldn't press flat down on here. We would have come into contact with here before the bearing was all the way seated. So we're seated. Looks uniform. Done deal here. Let's go put it back in the tractor. So I just discovered this. Here's the main, I guess, rod for the shift fork. Here's our shift fork, and it goes on the rod. So pretty sure it's not supposed to have slop there. And you can't really clamp on that because it's a solid piece that slides over the rod, but we're going to at least take these two 1/4-inch bolts out and make sure that they aren't excessively worn or shouldn't be replaced or something. They look like they're brass, or at least they're anodized, and I don't think they would have had a whole lot of anodizing going on way back when. But here it is. No real wear or anything, so they aren't able to clamp. So we're just going to say that's the way it's supposed to be, and make sure they're both tight and go from there. No way. That was unexpected. Snapped off almost instantly. These are shear bolts, apparently. I mean, guys, I didn't have 15, 20 foot-pounds on there. Whoa. I just bumped that one and it came off. Wow. How lucky is that to find that? That's been broken for a very long time. It just fell apart in my hands. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna get a couple bolts. Okay. That was weird, guys. I mean, 99.9% of the time under normal operating conditions, as long as these bolts are through here this way, that bolt's not going to come out. But if it ever, those two, one was broken, one was probably partially broken until I tried to tighten it. And if something had hit the tractor, hit something hard enough to bounce these out or whatever, yeah, could have just lost all clutch and would have had to tear this thing in two pieces again. So we've got, those were fine thread bolts. We went ahead and these are grade 8, but they're coarse thread, and then we found some 9-lock nuts to put on here. There's not going to be a ton of wear and tear on these bolts, so as long as you get something in there and get it snugged down, life is going to be good for a very long time. So that's what we're going to do. Put these two in, get them tightened up. That way, you know, that's what caused the wear in this piece right here, was the fact that that bolt was broke. This one probably lost all its torquing and holding ability because it was stretched and almost broke. And so this was not, didn't have any clamping force on it at all. Mary and Mackie are wrestling a little bit. There we go. There. Took our slop out now. We're good to go. Very good. It's a good thing we caught that, I'm thinking. Like, oh, like, oh. There we go. Look at that. Oops. Grab our pliers here. Take our first spring. Oh. There we go. Oops, sorry. Sorry, I bumped you. Settle down, Mary. There we go. There's one. There's two. Well, seems like we might have a rub. No, it's fine. and we're ready to throw the pilot bearing now into the flywheel. Well, I forgot to hit the record button, but we just installed our pilot bearing using our seal and bearing installer like that. Now let's get this flywheel back on the engine, and we're getting pretty close to starting to slide things back together. Alright, let's these locking washers on here. Remember, I have a couple tick marks that I put in with a chisel here and on the engine block, just so we know we're putting this flywheel back together in the same spot in the rotation as when it came out. It's more than likely, or at least there's a very good chance that the engine could be externally balanced, meaning the mass of the flywheel is calculated into how the spinning assembly in the engine balances, and well, if you don't put the flywheel back on the way it came off, it'll be way out of balance. So just making sure that we, just in case that's the type of balance that they have on here, that we put it back together the right way. Okay, we're going to torque the flywheel bolts. They get about 55 foot-pounds. This engine is old and small and spins pretty easily, so there's no way you're going to get 55 foot-pounds on each one of these nuts without holding that flywheel in place. So what you do is you take a couple 5/16 bolts, put them in here with a pry bar, grab your 15-year-old kid and say, hold that while I torque these. Time. Torqued. Now the clutch disc. You always put the part with the hat, I call it, on the towards the transmission and away from the engine. And then we take our handy dandy alignment tool. That kind of holds that guy there for you. Bolt started here. Just want to make sure that you get all the way into that pilot bushing, or pilot bearing. You can see we're catching our old grease there, so it's going all the way in. There. Now we've got them all snugged down nice and tight. Clutch disc is trapped in there. So Jalen did some pretty masterful welding.
More the wheel than
that. Yeah. There's a big hole here. This is a piece that we put in to help take up a broken out space. And then there was some cracking over here. So that's all pretty much repaired. We'll cut off this tab, clean up the backside a little bit. And that should help another one of our, it was a small leak, but you could tell some exhaust was getting out there too. So good job welding by Jay. There you go. Aha! Is your sight in? I don't know. Oh, yes. It's in. Yes. Hello everybody, welcome back from our little break. Phone died, so we don't know how much we got there. Pretty sure we got it though to where the tractor is now together, and we've got the front bars hooked up and whatnot. The old intake and exhaust manifold is off. It is scrap metal now, and the new one is on. We did have to put a coat of paint on it to keep it from rusting, and that took forever to dry, but heat gun helped it out. So that's where we're at now. It's the next day. Well, it's a day later than the day of the last video, just a couple days, but it's a Sunday. Jayla and I were out here late till about 10 or 10:30 last night, and voila, back together in one piece, ready to fire up. So Jaylen's off doing teenage boy stuff today, and he doesn't get to be the first one to drive it. Oh, I got one more tool under here. So we put it back together, adjusted the clutch, got the intake on. I think we've got the exhaust on the way we want it. And the battery that came with the old girl from 2018 seems to have taken a charge. So, mosquitoes. So it's like 48 degrees in the shop, and there's still dang mosquitoes in here. Anyway, we're just gonna kind of let her rip here, and let's get her started, make sure everything's running good, and then let's see about going in gear and moving forwards and backwards with a clutch. Ignition on, no sparks, no smoke. Let's try this again. We had to give it just a little sniff of laughing gas to get her to fire. And we shut her down. Let's see if it'll fire now. Beautiful sunset. A little chilly. A nice sunset for an after evening tractor drive. So there you have it, the Harry Ferguson TO-30 1951, 70 years old this year, folks. She's back up and running. We're found a couple things we want to adjust on it, tweak it a little bit, look for another video covering that. But appreciate you hanging out with us. If you want more info on the old TO-30, comment. We appreciate it if you like and subscribe to our videos, and we will keep plugging away. So thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one.